Good evening, this is Jacqueline with Celestic Journey, and if you've never watched any of my videos before, this channel is all about spiritual topics and the soul, how the soul functions, and I'm barely kicking it off. I'm still actually, now that for those of you who follow astrology, now that all the planets are starting to slowly move forward again, move prograde, we're starting to kick ourselves back into gear, back into action, and start accomplishing some things, make some changes. We've gone back and reconfigured or had a little rest and relaxation time for some, to kind of give you a rest before kicking it full throttle again. So looking forward to that. I don't know about the rest of you, but I always feel a little bit unaccomplished if I'm not doing something. And but anyway, happy Jupiter stationary direct day for those of you that do follow astrology. So today's topic is going to be on creating physical vibrational change in order to create changes in what we're attracting into our reality. This is going to allow us to begin manifesting our goals and our desires more effectively, more efficiently. So, many times when we talk about manifesting and creating change for our life, we talk about the mental patterns, maybe the negative beliefs that we have, or the erroneous, self-doubt and down talk or self-criticism, or something like that. And we think about our emotions and shifting our emotions. And so we work on a lot of these internal things, but we totally forget oftentimes the physical vibration is actually where it's all happening at. So it's great to do your positive affirmations and the positive self-talk and all of that, but if you're not taking it from up here and planting it into your physical patterns, your daily habits and routines, the way that you're living your life and making your decisions or making your choices, acting on those decisions, acting on those beliefs and stuff, and actually starting to move your physical world around you in response to the changes going on here, then you're never going to accomplish or bring in the positive things that you want for your reality, because the physical vibration, this physical matter, this physical body, this physical world is where it's all actually happening at. So this physical vibration is the most important thing that we can change for ourselves in order to create positive change in our life. And if we have many things that we're doing that are kind of counteracting the positive that we want, obviously that's going to set us back. Energetically, it sets us back, and then we feel like we're 5 steps forward and 10 steps back, that kind of feeling. So, we have to be a match. We have to catch up to where we want to go. We have to match our physical vibration to the quality of the desire that we want in order to actually make it happen for us, make that come to fruition. And it's also, that's the weight, the density of the physical reality that we live in, is such that if we do something, we physically do something, then we can't take that back. We create a shift, we create a change that we can't go back and alter a lot of times. So, we can say, I'm sorry, we can do some course corrective work and that kind of thing, but it might take some time to undo what physically is done. That's permanent often. And, that creates a shift in every other higher dimensional aspect of ourself. So, the thoughts and the emotions, those change very rapidly. We can create change there very easily sometimes. So, other negative patterns are difficult to shift there, but it is much easier to play with our thoughts, to change our feelings one second, and the next moment we're feeling something else. Those are very fluid, but this physical reality is really where we want to focus to manifest change. So I made a little whiteboard here with a list of the steps that we're going to take. And there's really 3 main steps. Now, the first is to ask ourselves, what is my goal? How am I feeling now about my life? And what is the goal that you want? We can make this something like, I want to, whatever to happen in my romantic relationship or my love life or in my family relationships. I can, make a job goal or something like that. But I would rather us focus on the desires that are a little deeper than that. So the desires that have been with us for a very long time. Maybe for years you've been wanting to write books or go back to school or something like along those lines. Maybe move to the beach. Whatever that is for you, it's different for everybody. But what is that desire that keeps coming back and keeps coming back, and it's nagging at the back of your mind all the time? Maybe 10 years ago it didn't happen, but you know what? Now the kids are moved out of the house, and now I have an opportunity. I'm going to go back to school, or I'm going to do XYZ. I am going to buy that beach house. So what are those things that you constantly are desiring? It's not the same as a survival need. It's not the same as a want. Like, oh, it would be nice to have a fast car. It would be nice to, live in a fancy house, but that's not really something I desire. Okay, great if that happens, but it's not a deeper desire, right? So what is, so on a piece of paper, write down what is, maybe what are 1 or 2 or 3 of those big desires or goals that you have. And how does that make you feel now? So, how does it make you feel if you consider being able to fulfill that desire and make that desire come true for you? And that energetic quality is what we want to focus on. So for me, my desires, the fulfillment of my desires would bring about a great self-empowerment. So empowerment is my word, because if I could write novels and be a published author and really pull people into a fantasy world of mysticism and excitement and get them to love the little characters that I write, and all their personalities, and, orchestrate all of this, plot and everything like that. Maybe for me, completing that project would be empowerment. Like, man, I can do anything. If I can do this, I can do anything. And so even though my goal is to write the books, because that's what my soul wants to experience for this life. That's what I really would enjoy, right? But ultimately, it's empowering. It's like, dang, I did that. Wow, I can't believe, really, I can do anything. If I can do anything, and that, what is that feeling for you? It can be anything. Come up with your one word. And this is probably going to be a very short list of ultimate goals or ultimate desires that you really want for yourself right now. And you can add to it later, but I would rather go and scratch off all the unnecessary stuff, things that aren't really a true desire inside. So, what is the one word? So not 2 or 3 words, but one word that describes how blissed out, that would make you feel if you could accomplish anything that you wanted, right? All those goals. And now, what is the opposite of that? What is the opposite negative polarity of, achieving your goals or that desire, having that fulfillment for your experience? Is that feeling disempowerment? Is it feeling used? Is it feeling grief? Is it feeling depression? Is it anxiety? Is it feeling obligated? What is that word that would be the opposite of that. So what is your negative polarity? Now keep those things written down in front of you and keep that in mind. Now make a list on a separate piece of paper or lower on the paper. I want you could take a few hours, take a few days to do this if you wanted to, but make a list of everything that you do and your habits, your routines, your hobbies, your schedule at your job, from brushing your teeth to going to bed all day long. What is it that you do, or maybe what you don't do that you would like to do, that contributes negatively? So maybe it makes you feel negative. Maybe it makes you feel obligated. Well, if it's feeling obligated, then we're not aligned to our positive, goal-getting, energetic quality of empowerment, right? So what can I do then to change obligation to empowerment, right? So make a list. How does each thing that you do every day make you feel? What kind of energy are you putting into the activities in your daily life? How does each one, so how would you describe the positive energetic quality of each of these things? If it's not aligning with your positive energetic word that you have here, then we need to change that. And that's where we have the opportunity to create shift in your physical vibration. So we can then, on the third bullet point, the third step, we can remove, we can add things. We can also alter and come up with positive alternatives that would express the positive energetic quality, our one word that we want, into our daily life. So in every area of our life, the goal essentially is to make it congruent, everything all together, to this positive energetic quality that's going to lead you to your desires. Because in our physical vibration, if we are not physically, vibrationally, energetically aligned with that desire, then we won't have it yet, because we are not congruent, and we have to be equal to our desire, the quality of our desire, in order to bring it to us, in order to bring it into our life. So, usually that's where we see the stair stepping of our goals, because we're gradually aligning ourselves to the vibrational quality of that ultimate desire by making real world changes in our daily life, our choices, our actions, our decisions. And then that is creating the correction that needs to happen in order to bring us here, full circle, right? So, for example, I will share a brief example with you from my own experience. So I've in the past had a lot of sacral chakra blocks, and I didn't really realize it, but through my life, through many, many years, I always thought that, if I wanted to enjoy some time out, that I had to go with somebody else. And so there was a lot of things that I wanted to go out and do and enjoy that I didn't allow myself to do, because, it was really hard to align schedules with the people in my life who were already busy, had families of their own, had, whatever coming up in their life. And so there were just those things that I never really got around to doing. And I always felt resentment around that. I felt upset. I felt angry. I felt, a little depressed, sad, because I kept thinking, man, I just really want to go do this. Like, somebody go with me. Come on, please. Like, I don't want to go by myself, like that kind of thing. And it never worked out. And so, I would just choose to stay home and feel sad and depressed and sit by myself and curl up in a ball on my couch and eat ice cream. that's what every girl does when she gets sad. Just give her ice cream. Anyway, ice cream shifts physical vibrations too. So I didn't realize when I was keeping myself home, I was choosing not to go out and do these things that were going to make me feel really good, that I was actually harming myself. I was actually putting a blockage on my solar plexus chakra that was keeping me from being able to manifest other things that were positive into my life. So one weekend, I decided that, you know what? I'm going to experiment with this. I'm going to get myself all dressed up. I had always, and I'm sorry, this relates because the word, for the couple of goals I was looking at, one of the words was fulfillment and one was empowerment. So, I empowered myself. I basically just told myself, look, I'm going to go out and do it, whether anybody else is going to go or not. I'm just going to do it for myself. I need this. I'm going. And the other, for fulfillment, I was like, man, like, there's great food out here. Like, I want to go try this place. I want to try that place. I want to try this cafe. I just want to stroll the streets and people watch and on the crisp, kind of fall, winter kind of day. And like, man, that would make me feel so full, like so full of life and just enjoying and, just being out in the world, just appreciating everything around me and the beauty of the world around me and these experiences I hadn't had or for very, ever, or maybe for a very long time. So what I did is I ended up by myself. I didn't wait on anybody. I didn't call nobody. I just dressed myself up, put my full makeup, I put my fancy coat, and I went to a very nice area of town, to a very nice Italian restaurant where I strolled down the street and people watched, and I sat out on the street at a cafe and just enjoyed my coffee with my little espresso and, wore my fancy jewelry, like all of these things. I was enjoying myself so much because I didn't have to wait on anybody. I just went and did what I wanted to do. Like, I literally just did everything for me in that weekend, like probably 5 or 6 or 7 different things that I had been desperately wanting to go out and do and experience, but I just wouldn't let myself previously because I felt like I was reliant, that fulfillment was reliant on someone else. So I was essentially disempowering myself. I was giving my empowerment and my fulfillment to somebody else. And I was saying, okay, well, if you aren't going to give it to me, then I can't have it. So I turned that around and I said, no, I'm going out and I'm doing this for me. And you know what? If anyone else wants to come one day, maybe that'll happen. Okay. But I don't wait anymore. If I want something, I go out and do it, or I do a version of it. Maybe I, can't afford the most expensive restaurant downtown, but maybe I can afford something halfway in between, still someplace new. Maybe I never went, but it has great reviews, the same kinds of food, etc., etc. So, maybe the same type of atmosphere, this close to the same location, so I compromise and so I do, something similar to what I've been wanting, but not all the way, because maybe I don't want to put myself out that much financially for it, but I'm still doing that for myself to fulfill that feeling of fullness and empowerment, awe, gratitude, whatever that is. So when I was done with this experience, then essentially on my way home, I felt like almost like something unlocked energetically. For those of you who are very energetically sensitive, you'll be able to feel, your chakra energies and stuff. And if you have some blockages or something, you'll feel it. And as you experiment more, especially with this exercise, adding something into your routine that matches that positive quality, go out and do it, or change what you're doing now to match that quality of what you want, and see what it brings in, see what changes for you. As you do that, you will feel the shift internally. You will feel yourself changing. So, when I was on my way home, I felt something unlock. And all of a sudden, I felt this rush of energy come into my solar plexus chakra. And I want to point out it was the solar plexus chakra because I was actively participating, actively doing, right? My activity was actively doing something that before I had blocked. And the solar plexus is all about our action, our active willpower to do something for ourselves, right? So because I had gone out and done something for myself that I had stopped myself from doing previously, all of a sudden that energy starts pouring through. And oh my gosh, my solar plexus chakra was on fire for a week. For a week, I felt like I had those electric nodes plugged onto my body, that the nerve test things, they put those pads and then they do the electric pulses. I felt like I had one of those in the middle of my back for a week. That is how enormous the shift was. Because energetically, I spoke completely different to myself, completely different to my reality. So reality starts moving because I'm moving differently now. And when we move differently than we did before, then reality checks and says, okay, am I matching the return of what this person is doing new in their life? Okay, because then reality has to readjust, right? And the same thing happens when we do any kind of spiritual healing and that kind of thing, because energetically then our reality starts to adjust. But this is why the fastest way to create change for yourself, positively or negatively, is your physical action. Not positive affirmations, not positive thinking, not positive beliefs, not, whatever, positive beliefs, whatever. But actually physically doing something that reflects the quality of what you desire. So, if you are, say running a business, or, you want to put more time into your business, but maybe you have to deep clean your house. And say, for example, and that's going to make me feel obligated to having a huge house that, now I have to do all this upkeep. I was enjoying the house, but now I feel just drained by it, right? But, maybe instead of me doing the cleaning, I could opt to pay helper for a couple of hours to come in and deep clean with me. We cut that list in half, we cut it short, get it done really, really fast, and then I can redirect my time to doing what I want to do. So instead of continuing to assume that I have to do something that's grueling and demanding and obligatory and draining, that's essentially disempowering me, then I can take an empowered action in this case and say, you know what, I'm going to spend the 40 or 50 bucks to have somebody come help me for an hour, and I think that's all it'll take. They're pretty good at what they do, so in and out, we'll get it knocked out, and then that 40 bucks was worth it when now I've made an empowered choice, and now I'm redirecting my time to what I want and continuing to boost that essence of empowerment, right? So these are the kinds of things we need to start taking a look at in our daily life as we go through our actions, either what we're doing or what we're not doing. So what are you doing? In the comment section below, I would like to know, what is your one word that basically is what will be conjured up if you could have your greatest desires in this world fulfilled. And what is the opposite feeling of that for you? This is subjective for everybody. The opposite of love could be different for everybody. Maybe the opposite of love is abandonment for some, or it could be anything. So feel free to write down whatever quality that you come up with. Usually it's the first thing that you come up with also. And then tell me in the comments below also what came up in your list that's not aligning, or how aligned do you feel like you are at this point. Maybe you feel like you're very aligned. Maybe you feel like you're this close to some of those goals, and maybe just 1 or 2 or 3 small consistent changes over the next couple of months will get you there. Maybe that's all you need to shift into that alignment with that goal. And then, if it's something that's maybe a little further away and you feel like you want to make a big drastic change, maybe you want to quit your job and get a whole completely different job, or go back to school, and then that is also something that will drastically shift your vibrational frequency and the quality of what you're bringing into your life, because you're making a big statement when you do something like that. Although most people are a little averse to big change. It's a little scary. It's unsettling to get accustomed to new changes. So many people will like to take it gradually. So small, incremental, and consistent changes that can actually take us very far, very quickly. Or, you may be a person that wants to do a very big leap where you're doing multiple huge changes all at once. And that's okay. So either way, you can make it to your goals. But keep in mind, how is what you're doing affecting your feeling? All right, what energetic quality is that bringing up in you? And if it's bad, if it's negative, then we probably want to reevaluate that and see, can I remove it? Can I add something else in the place of it, and either completely new, or can I come up with alternatives? So maybe do it at a different time of day, maybe use a different venue, a different avenue of communication, maybe a different media outlet, maybe, or media, type of media platform. Maybe we need to look at the people that we are associating ourselves with. Maybe we need to look at how we're doing something, just the method that we're doing the same thing, but shift it slightly. So what is it? And in the comments below also, you can write, how is it that you are changing what you're doing now to create the positive reflection, the positive energetic quality that you really want? Because the more you do those things, the closer you're going to start shifting your physical reality to bring in those manifested desires that you want. And, keep in mind that if we do one thing and say the area of our work that counteracts our, our decisions for our private life, well, we need all areas to be consistent. We need all areas to be congruent with the energetic quality. So we need to look at everything. If we take one step in the wrong direction and we keep doing one negative pattern over and over, well, we probably are going to negate all the positive stuff that we did over here. So we're going to have this back and forth and back and forth. I felt like I was making progress and now I'm not. And I felt like I was and now I'm not. Because we're having to go back and make up for it. So, making our entire world, all of our actions and choices energetically congruent to the quality of our desire. Okay? So that is how we are going to shift into that fulfillment, into that accomplishment. So like I said, put all your comments below. I think I hit all the points that I wanted to, honestly. So I think 30 minutes video is long enough. Let me know if you have any questions. You can email me, you can contact me on my website, you can certainly make comments here on this video. Like I said, I'd love to hear your progress. You know, what is your experience as you make any of these changes, if they be small or if they seem big? What is your experience, you know, before and after? And you know what? If you need any help honing in on some of those things, like exactly what is my one word? What is my goal or my desire? What, you know, can I do to change XYZ in my day-to-day life in order to make it more congruent to what's going to manifest my positive desires? If you need any assistance with that, then let me know, and I will do as much as I can, you know, with a comment back or something, just to help you. But I do also, on my website, I offer coaching on this. I do readings for this and guidance for this. So, you know, we could also schedule a one-on-one session. That would be perfectly fine. You know, I love to talk with each and every one of you because everybody's journey is so different and so amazing. And you guys just blow me away every time. You know, especially when people sometimes come into a session kind of nervous or skeptical, or you know, because it's psychic reading. So, you know, when you come in not really knowing what to expect, and then, or, you know, even feeling kind of down on themselves. I find a lot of clients feel kind of down on themselves. They're in a difficult place at the time that they're seeking guidance. So, you know, it's great to point out all the wonderful things, to go through the healing, to go through the transformation, to refocus, to figure out how to hone what your true desire is and how to get there. So anyway, just let me know what I can do to help you. You know, if you have questions or anything, reach out to me, email, my website, you know, comments here. That's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day. I hope you're successful with this little exercise and have fun with it, because I know I do. You know, it's something that you may want to do every probably like 2 to 4 weeks, is reevaluate where you're at. Okay, so 2 to 4 weeks is our number. Don't overanalyze and overthink things, but maybe every 2 to 4 weeks, go back and see how you're doing. So thank you. Let me know your progress. All right, bye-bye.